wonderful things you've done, for all the victories that you have won, as joy comes with the rising sun. For giving us your only son, for letting us to stand as one, for giving us hope until you come.
It's great to be back this week, and thank you for tuning in to One-on-One with Ann and Priscilla, presented by ICON for the campaign Hear Their Voices. So Priscilla, how was your week?
Oh, it was such a blessing to have this week. I think the more we do this, Anne, the more uncomfortable I get with the complacency I see around me about this silent slaughter in Nigeria. And last week, we got the privilege of hearing from a woman who was in a community where a wedding was attacked. And she talked about how there's like a target on the back of children and how the next generation is being slaughtered, and the hopelessness and the need for medical care for people who are injured. I don't know about you, Anne, but my sense of I'm okay with this has completely evaporated and it's out of the window. I'm no longer okay with doing nothing. And I'm getting really, really upset at people who can't see what we see, but I think they're not hearing what we're hearing. So I'm excited for people to begin to hear these things and begin to take action.
Yeah. Well, I was able to tune in to a press conference, the press conference that was held last week on the 16th with Benjamin Watson, Tulsi Gabbard, and Frank Wolf and John Stonestreet. They were amazing. They were able to talk about Nigeria, what's happening with the silent slaughter, and they were not given any scripts or anything. They did the research and found the information, and they were all on board. And these are some big hitters. We were so excited to see them. I don't know if you were able to tune in.
I was, and I was so grateful because I didn't know they weren't given scripts. I was like, oh, these people know a lot about Nigeria, and it's interesting to know that they found that information by themselves. And it was just such a blessing for me as a Nigerian, sitting down and watching that press conference. It felt like I felt seen. I felt like our issues are being brought to the forefront. And I really deeply, deeply appreciated their intentionality in speaking about this situation.
Yeah, I think it was really fabulous. And so anybody can still tune into that. Go to YouTube, and the channel that we have is Icon Help. You can look up Benjamin Watson, but go to Icon Help on YouTube and you should be able to find it very easily.
And after you watch it, click that little button on the side that has an arrow going that way that says share, and share it. That's all we ask. Get the word out there. Share it.
Absolutely.
Get the views out of the window. This is our challenge. Why not? Just do it.
I like how you always bring challenges to us, Priscilla. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. And it's such a blessing. This week we have a special treat for you. We have a special guest discussing with us live from Jos, Nigeria. We're excited to have Dr. Gloria Puldu, who is a professor at the University of Jos. Anne is going to tell you a little bit more about Gloria and how she knows her.
Hello. I'm very excited to have Dr. Gloria Puldu here. We have known each other in JOS for many, many years. Our children went to school together and we went to the market together. And so I am very excited. She's doing so much work. We've been in Washington, D.C. together. And so I'm just thrilled that we can have this live conversation with Gloria today. Thank you so much for being here.
Dr. Gloria, welcome to the show. It's such a pleasure to have you on One-on-One.
Thank you very much, Priscilla and Anne. Thank you so much for having me.
We are blessed to have you. I just would like you to maybe let our audience know who you are, what you do, what's your connection to the women and children and the topics we're discussing today. So we know that you're a professor at University of JOS. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
Okay, you already said my name, and actually I am the Leah Foundation president, and Leah Foundation was founded in honor of Leah Sharibu, who was abducted, we know, over 2 years now by Boko Haram. And her courageous faith, which made her to refuse to renounce the Christian faith, gave us the opportunity to say, we are going to honor this faith because that is what Jesus Christ stands for, asks us to do. And so we set up that organization, and I was asked to be the president of that organization. And that organization helps to encourage girls and women who are going through persecution because of their faith in Jesus Christ. So for me, it has been a wonderful opportunity for me to work with the Leah Foundation, working with girls and women, supporting them and seeing them through the persecutions that they are going through. That is a little about myself.
Wow. We're so grateful. Thank you for filling that in. Some of our audience might say, who is Leah? And yes, that's a lovely picture, but can you just dive deeper a little bit into Leah's life? What happened? When was she abducted? Why is there a Leah Sharibu Foundation? Just tell us a little bit more about Leah.
Leah Sharibu was abducted from her secondary school in Dapchi when she was 14 years old. We know about the Chibok girls who were taken about 6 years ago from their school in Chibok by Boko Haram. So 2 years ago, Boko Haram went to a secondary school in Dapchi where Leah Sharibu was kidnapped alongside 110 girls. And after 1 month, the Nigerian government was able to negotiate for the release of the girls with the Boko Haram. But unfortunately for Leah, who was the only Christian girl amongst them, she was asked to renounce her Christian faith by the Boko Haram, her abductors, the terrorists. And Leah Sharibu was bold enough to refuse to renounce her Christian faith. Actually, she was told to recite the Kalmar Shahada, and Kalmar Shahada is the Islamic creed, and Leah refused to do that. So for us, she has become a hero, and we know that the Lord has asked us to do that. So we decided that we are going to set a foundation in honor of Leah, so that we can advocate for her release and other people who are also in her condition. We are advocating for their release. So that is a little about Leah. She was taken on the 19th of February 2018. So she's over 2 years now in captivity.
Wow. Such an honor to talk to you, and God bless you, and thank you for all the work you're doing. Before I just have Anne ask a few more questions, I just want to ask one more question about Leah and her family. I know you're in close communication with her mother, and there was this whole huge Bring Back Our Girls operation or campaign a few years ago, but now it's like everybody's silent and nobody's actually talking about the persecution and those who are still in captivity. So can you tell us about how her family is coping, how her mother might be handling some of these things, and what can people do to help?
Okay, it's really a very sad situation for the parents. You can imagine for 2 years, your child has been away. You don't know what is happening to that child. You always hear rumors upon rumors. Today, you will hear that she's dead. Tomorrow, you will hear she's pregnant. She has given birth. Next tomorrow, you will hear so many stories going, and there's nobody talking to you from the government. Meanwhile, they had promised that they were going to ensure that they get Leah released. And to even add to the trauma and the pains that they are going through, virtually on a daily basis, you hear other girls are being taken or kidnapped, and they are also taken into captivity. Yours is still in captivity, so it just keeps reminding you of the, pains and the trauma your child is going through and all that. So even as at day before yesterday, that's Friday, on the 19th of September, 2 girls were abducted from Casina, from a church in Ekwa Casina, and they are twins. This is something that happens on a daily basis. I can mention so many names that of recent were just taken. We have Grace, we have Jennifer, we have Alice Ngada still in captivity. We have others, so many unnamed girls. We have villages being attacked of recent, just the last 2 months. So many girls and women will be taken now, including even the children, the young boys. They are all taken into captivity. So it's when you hear that as a parent, the trauma the pains just keep increasing, and you're traumatized at all times. So Leah's parents are on a daily basis traumatized because of the situation that is all around them, and their daughter is still in captivity. Rather than being brought back, others are being taken into captivity. So it's really very painful.
And do you have some questions?
Well, the last few weeks, we've been looking at videos of women and children who have experienced violence and deaths and in their villages. And we've talked about trauma, and the traumatized ones have to take care of other traumatized ones. There's nobody from the outside coming in to help. I'm wondering if that's the case, if there's anybody who is able to help them process, or kind of what's going on with how people deal with trauma.
Yeah, thank you. And for like maybe people like Leah Sharibu's parents and some of the people that we are working with, we have had the opportunity of having organizations like ICON who gave us opportunities to advocate for Leah, not just in Nigeria, pressuring the Nigerian government, but also outside the country. In the United States, we're able to visit the Vice President's office, we're able to see the Senate and the House of Representative members. We were able to go to so many places. So such kinds of activities have really helped, like Leah's mom, to see that people are showing concern to what is happening to her daughter. And for us to also be speaking out on behalf of others, not just in the United States, but in UK as well, and then in Europe, and with what you are all doing, it helps cushion the pains, and then it brings hope. It keeps the hope going. That's at least people are hearing the voices, even though actions are yet to be taken, especially to pressure the Nigerian government to ensure that it takes action. But such activities that are happening are actually really are helping. And so with the trauma, we still will need a lot of professionals, who I know you are one, and you've been helping working with traumatized communities when you were in Nigeria. I know that if we have such good professionals one-on-one talking with the victims, that will be helpful. Helping the victims, that will be helpful. There are some people that are here that are working on that, but we still need more, and we still ask that people should help and support so that these traumatized people can be helped. Because in most communities, because of the alarming increase of the kidnappings, the killings, the displacement, the abductions, the help is becoming less. And so even the traumatized people have to help themselves. And you are traumatized and you're helping, it can't work. So we really need help. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gloria. A lot of people say, how can I help? I'm just an average person living in the United States, and what is my responsibility? I don't know if you can speak just a little bit to what can the average person in the US or Nigerians in the diaspora watching this, what can they do today to take action? One of the things we've been asking over the past few weeks is for people to take steps immediately. What are some specific things that you can say you can do this today, and this would be helpful for these families, for Leah's family? What are some things they can do right now?
The very first request I will have, which is the first request that we always have as a Faith Foundation, is that we want to request for prayers. Continue to advocate for Leah and seek the face of God, and not just for Leah, because Leahs represent the face of the persecuted Christians in Nigeria, and not just Nigeria, now all over the world, So pray, and after praying, we will want to encourage, especially Nigerians who are in diaspora, to ensure that they speak and publicize the atrocities that are happening in Nigeria, especially in the media. Currently, it is difficult to have this exposure in our media here because there is not so much freedom of the press. And so if you are out there, you can have the opportunity to get direct information, direct recordings and activities that are happening in all these places, then expose them out there and let people see. Speak out to the governments there and see how Nigerian government can be pressured to ensure that they take action. Because what we have now is inaction, is turning the blind eye from what is happening to so many Christian communities. And so if people out there will speak, that will be very helpful. For others, I will also request, in whatever way you can support with your resources, with your prayers, with whatever resources, apart from financial, you can support in different forms. Please go ahead. We need so much help. And that is what I will ask people.
Thank you so much, Gloria. I'd like to add here that, like we've said before, you can always go to iconhelp.org to find information. Go to iconhelp.org/engage and get information on how you can make a difference. You can help, you can give. And then when you give, you can even specify after your first gift what your gift should be used for. You can specify on how you want your money to be used. So please, Danla is what we say in Just we beg you to get involved with this fight. Gloria, I have one more question. This will be the last question from me, and if Anne has an additional question, she can throw in that. But what do you have to say to the average person, maybe Nigerians, maybe non-Nigerians that were like me, that knew about this in the back of our minds, but did not get engaged? We're like, I have my life. I know you have your family, you have your children, but you've taken up this cause to stand for someone else. How will you speak to those people that say, doesn't concern me, it's none of my business? How we say to Nigeria, this one no concern me. How will you speak to people that are saying that?
There are so many people that thought that when the problems of Boko Haram started in northeastern part of Nigeria over 10 years ago, that is the problem of the Northeast. They are just killing themselves and it doesn't concern me. Before we knew, it has crept into the north central part of Nigeria, and now it has gone to the northwestern part of Nigeria, and it's moving towards not just in the northern part now, to the southern part of the country. We have the Boko Haram, we have the Fulani herdsmen, we have the bandits, we have the kidnappings, we have so many things. It started like just a terrorism in one region, in one small place, now moving to when you say you are not concerned, it doesn't concern you. You don't know when it can reach you. And as believers, as Christians, we know that whatever concerns one part of the church, one part of the body concerns, and it affects the others. Mm-hmm. So I will encourage that, because it does not affect you directly, your family is not affected directly, does not mean you can just turn a blind eye. If you're doing that, well, you are behaving like the government that we are now accusing and calling on to work, because it can happen to anyone. And for us, we will encourage, please do not turn a blind eye. Advocate, even if it's just speaking, even if it's sharing, in whatever way you can, just be involved. Just ensure that you show concern. Prayer, which we have organized now, and we are calling on all Christian women to do that, is part of what we are asking everyone to do.
Yes, and would you like to talk just a little bit about this global prayer gathering that's happening this Saturday?
Okay, did you ask me?
Global.
Right. Go ahead, Gloria.
Sorry?
Go ahead, Gloria.
Okay.
Can you talk about that?
Okay, yeah. So there's a global prayer that has been called, that all believers should repent and seek the Lord for revival. And we, as Northern Christian women, who are the ones paying a very great price, because it is our region that is actually so much affected, we even call ourselves the endangered species on Earth, because we are being killed on a daily basis, we are being traumatized, we are being persecuted on a daily basis. So we have decided to key into this global gathering for prayers for revival, repentance and revival. And we have asked the entire 19 northern states of Nigeria that all Christian women on the 26th of September 2020, that is coming Saturday, every Christian woman will gather in her church, and we will pray, pleading with the Lord to forgive us, and then to also ask him to revive us so that he can bring some succor, some relief to what is happening to our region. There has been so much bloodshed. There has been so much distress. Everything is happening in the northern part of the country, and it is the women that are paying a high price, because their children are killed, their husbands are killed, they are also killed themselves. And so we said, women should come out as the wailing women. We will wear black on that day, signifying the sorrowful state of our hearts, and then we will plead with the Lord to forgive us for the bloodshed that has taken place in our land, and then for our inability to have evangelized our region completely, for people to come to Christ, and all other sins that we have committed, and then plead with him to revive our land, to revive us as a people. We know that this revival is coming, and he has promised that, and the entire world is keen into it. We also want to be part of it. So that is the purpose for calling that prayer.
Thank you, Gloria. I feel like you've really shed some light on things. A lot of the questions I wanted to ask you answered. The impact on the whole country and even the world, especially as believers, when one part of the body is hurting and suffering and vulnerable, we have to lift them up and we have to support them in whatever way possible. And I was encouraged to hear you talk about hope. And that's such a key thing in this whole, because our hearts are just so saddened. It's heart-wrenching to hear about these things happening week after week. And we feel so powerless and helpless, but we actually have so much we can do, as has been talked about. And prayer is very significant. And so we join with you on the 26th. And we're just so thankful that you're able to see ways that God is working and tell us about those things, because it can get so heavy sometimes. We sometimes forget that God is at work and in control in all of this. So thank you for sharing those things with us.
I was just going to say thank you so much. I know Ann is going to be joining. I will be joining. I want to call on our audience to join us on Saturday. We are taking a day to pray. The Bible says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face, I'll heal their land. So those of us who are Christ followers, and we understand that's not all of our audience, but if you are, pray. If you're not, pray in the way that is prayer for you. Lend your hearts towards this cause. This is very heavy. I feel like this is just part one because there's so many questions brewing in my mind to continue in this conversation with Gloria. I feel like there's so much more we can learn about what's going on in Nigeria. But Gloria, I just want to thank you very much for not sitting idle, for not prioritizing you and your family. Some of us have sat idle for so long, and there's so many people that have greater influences that are sitting idle today. And you are an example to us to not stay idle. So thank you for giving us this time. Do you have any last final words before we sign off? But we are so grateful, very grateful to have had her on this edition of One-on-One with Ann and Priscilla. Like she said, the least you can do is share. Share the story. You can share this broadcast. I want to give you a challenge. How many platforms can you share this broadcast with this week? Can we increase the people that get to hear about Leah? Can you get your entire family to know who Leah is this week? Can you get your church to know her name? We've been talking about hashtag say her name, and there's so many more hers than the one her we've been talking about. Can we share this story and make an impact today? Not tomorrow, today. You can share on Instagram, you can share on Twitter, on Facebook, or go to icanhelp.org/engage and find out how much more you can do. And do you have any more words to share?
No, I'm just thankful for this episode. I'm thankful to be here with you and our audience. And I just want to remind people to look us up at iconhelp.org. And as you said, share on as many platforms as you can. And thank you for joining us this week, One-on-One with Ann and Priscilla. We're so thankful.
Thank you. Have a good day.